Shut up and sit down.
Hello.
So here we go.
Winter is here, and we've that doesn't mean we're gonna have to be cold because we've got a hot podcast coming at you.
Yeah.
We're here with one of the best Swedish welterweight prospects coming out of Västerås Fight Club right now. We're here with the one and only pretty boy of Västerås, Robin Roos.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Oh, did we cut out right away?
No, are you there?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Introduction number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin Roos, everybody.
Thank you.
So thanks for the time that you took to out of your fight camp and everything. You're just 1 week away from one of the biggest fights in Swedish MMA and probably of your career as well. So I just want to start with your introduction kind of thing. How did you get into this? Just how did you get into MMA?
I started with Thai boxing and or more like Kung Fu really. When I was young, about 7 years old, and then moved naturally to Thai boxing because we started traveling to Thailand, and then I started to get some fights there. I had my first fight there when I was 10. So I've been doing that from 10 years old to about, I think I had my last fight in Thailand when I was 18 or 19. And I've been going there regularly, like every year, so maybe 1-2 fights every year there. So I think I have about 30 fights there now or something like that.
Wow. Well, that's crazy. Starting at 10? Wow. I did not know that.
So what is it about Thai boxing that attracted you?
I think when I started with the Kung Fu and everything, it was more like traditional, you know. You have to do I don't know how you say kata. You have to do some special things to get the belts and everything like that. But I wasn't really interested in that. I just wanted to do fight, actually.
Yeah.
So and then when we started going to Thailand and I trained there, the first year I trained there, it was the same year the tsunami came. It was the first time I was in Thailand also.
Okay.
And then I started training a bit, and then I just it felt nice, and they say, you want to fight? I say, of course. And then I fell in love with it because it's like, for me, it's really like tough. It builds you mentally, and like it's a tough sport. I think for me it's much tougher than MMA also. But I realized that, you know, you can be world champion in Thai boxing. You won't make any money. So it's like, when I was young, you had the K1 circus was the biggest one, you know.
Yeah.
So when I was 7, 8, and we went to the K1 in Stockholm and everything and watched that. That was my dream, you know. But then it died off. So after that, then naturally it was like, okay, now I did the Thai boxing for a long time, and then we didn't really have any MMA training in Sweden. We had small gloves and we punched each other, but we didn't have any MMA training here in Västerås.
Okay, so it was a bit of backyard fighting on your.
Yeah. Like we did the same thing we did with the bigger gloves, but now we put on the small gloves and then we just beat the shit out of each other.
That's the best way to learn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I done my first visit to Thailand recently, and I can see why people can fall in love with the culture there, and you know, I see a lot of students and a lot of fighters that are moving there as well, and I see that Muay Thai in MMA seems to be so important. Could you give us your thoughts on why that is?
I would say, to break that down a bit, I would say the most important one to have in MMA, I would say it's like wrestling and boxing. But for me, since I did the Thai boxing already and my boxing is okay, like it's not bad, I would say like the kicks and the kick game from Thai boxing and the knee and the clinch and all that, you can implement that. But it's like it's a learning curve to take something that you know in a certain style and then take it into another like venue, or how you say, because when you do the MMA you can't do full Thai boxing like stance and all that. You have to work around it a bit and try to implement it to the MMA game. So I think that was the biggest struggle for me in the beginning, because I was standing like straight up and just kicking everything, and the takedowns came very easy for the opponents. But as soon as you learn to implement it, I think it's really effective. And I mean, I don't think you see like in a fight, if somebody do a lot of low kicks, you never see people checking the low kicks. I don't know why they just think their legs are made of steel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You see that a lot. Like people just taking it without moving backwards or anything. And then when they're walking out, they're limping. Like,
Yeah, and then you see the people that actually implement the kind of the shielding and the guard game to low kicks, and it does have some devastating effects. That's how we've seen a lot of leg breaks as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because people don't throw the leg kicks. Also, many like the people who do, like in UFC, you see the people with the really good low kicks. They do it 100% good, but then you see people throwing like sloppy leg kicks, and then they break the leg, because when people check properly and you don't kick properly, that's what happens, because you kick with the wrong side of the shin, like you kick the wide side, not the edge of it.
Yeah, exactly. So you had no grappling training before you started at the MMA gym, shall I say?
No, nothing. When I started going to do the shoot fighting, you know, in Sweden we have the shoot fighting thing. You have to do now. It's MMA class B, I think, A or B. I don't really know. Yeah.
And that's without ground strikes. Am I correct?
Exactly. So when me and Tobias Harila, we did it at the same time, and we lost a lot of fights just because they just took us down. And it was 1 5-minute round, so it was like if you have one takedown, then you win.
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to show the tree like stand up, and then the in between stand up and the ground is the takedown or the clinch, how you say, and then the ground game. So if you got the takedown, then you won, because then you had the two elements and you can just hold them down for like a minute or something. Then I had to do the takedown on him, and then all that. Yeah, it was crazy. So me and Tobias, we lost a lot of fights, but we actually won the fight, but we lost on the points like that.
So it's losing but learning, shall I say?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great insight on the beginnings of Swedish MMA as well, especially from the amateur scenes.
Yeah.
So
and I will say, like, when we turned to the amateur scene, like when we started with the ground strikes and everything, it totally turned around from both me and Tobias. Like we just won everything almost. I had some losses, but yeah, you know what I mean.
So gone.
Yeah, it got easier to implement your previous background into the actual MMA scene.
What'd you say?
It got easier to implement what you had previously trained. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Much easier.
So you and I have had like a bit of a talking relationship for quite a while, because we're in the same city as well. And you were saying to me previously that you felt like you didn't need to get into MMA because your background was quite chosen for you already. Could you talk about that a bit, about the businesses that you would have gone into if you wasn't doing MMA?
Oh yeah. No, I don't do this for the money or something like that. Like I have how would you say, above average, like my family. My dad has a company, like construction company, since I was small, and I've been working there like every summer since I was a young boy. And I've always, like, I've never seen any problem with like how to get money, and I had the same drive that I have in fighting, I have in like the business side of it. And when I stopped school at 18, 19, then I just started working full time in the construction company. And the first year I was like learning a bit, and then after that year I was managing like 12 employees and having a full company under my name like that, and working full time and also training. That was the like the part that was pretty, like, how you say, fucked up, because I was working 8 hours like a regular work day, and also I have the company, so they call me like around the clock. They could come in with anything, like, oh, the car doesn't work, this doesn't work, we have to go there, we have to get this. And at the same time, I was going up at 4 o'clock training before work, because construction work starts at 6, you know. So I go up 4 o'clock and train, and then after the training I stay, because at this time I was training at All Stars in Stockholm, and I was also working in Stockholm, so I stayed there. And so I got home about 9-10 in the nighttime, you know, and then just go eat, sleep, and then same thing. And I did that for about 3 or 4 years, and I got a lot of money. Like, when you have a construction company, but me and my dad together ran the business, but he left it a bit to me to do what I want with it.
Okay.
But then in the end, we had a little falling out, because he wanted to still have his, like, the old ways, you know, because he built it up from scratch, and I understand that. And I started to realize that, like, money wasn't really that important to me, that I would, like, me and dad started arguing and stuff like that. So for me, I jumped off that, and because also, like, that it was too much to work like that and also try to train. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, especially training twice a day at the professional level.
Yeah. Okay, I did my whole amateur career like that, you know. So and also, like, when I started, I was like, it was too much. It was too much. And if you're gonna run a company, I think you're gonna do it 100%, and that's the way I do things. Like, that's why I quit with that. And also, like, my body started breaking down. I was like, in Sweden you say you hit the wall. I don't know if you say it the same in English. You say you hit the wall.
Yeah.
And I went to the doctor. They were like, because I was like, there's something wrong with my body, you know. I can't do training, I can't do nothing, I have no energy. I sleep, but I don't get, like, all my weekends I just sleep, because I try to get back, you know.
Yeah.
And the doctor said to me, like, you stress too much, you work too much. I say, what? This is just like bullshit. What are you talking about? It's not a disease.
Yeah.
I say, run the blood samples, do everything, and then they do that. And then she was like, no, your stress levels are too high, you have to calm down with the work and everything. I was like, shit. Told my dad about it, and he was like, no, this is the old way. You just work. This doesn't exist, you know. So that's why I quit and all that. And it took me about, I would say, 1.5-2 years to really properly get back. Like, every time I was gonna work, I got like, I have an easy way. I can get work tomorrow, new work. It was very easy for me to get work. But it took me almost like 2 years before I can go to work without getting, like, anxiety every time I was thinking about working, you know.
Yeah.
So it was crazy for that. I didn't really think that existed, and I get to feel it, like, full time. Yeah. So
they say that the hardest thing to get back is sleep. Like, you just lose it, you can never get it back, kind of thing. So I completely understand that, especially with my work hours as well. So
yeah, definitely one of the hardest things is not being able to function at the level you're used to. Like,
Exactly.
you only have a sense something is wrong, but you can't grasp it. So yeah, good call going to the doctor and actually getting it on print. Like, oh, look, your stress.
It wasn't my call. It was my mother's call. My mother and my girlfriend, she was like, what the fuck? You have to go do something. You know, something is wrong. I was like, nah, that's just bullshit. You just work through it, you know, because that's how I am brought up, you know.
Yeah.
If something's hard, you just work through it. And that's the same, like, work ethic I use in my training, because, and it has its good sides. Like, you need that kind of work ethic, but also in that case, it was better to, like, calm down. And you need balance, of course.
Yes. Similar to what Jürgen was saying about the old school way of training.
Yeah.
But also, like, when I was young, from about 10 to 15, 16, all I was doing was sparring, like, every day, you know. So I mean, now we changed it a bit, but that was why I went to training, because it's fun to go spar. That was what I did. So yeah, not when I was in Thailand, because they don't spar, but always in Sweden like that, because it's like the old we're like the old K1 style, and the European style is it's sparring every day. Like that's what you do. It's hard sparring because that's what's fun, and that's what you're gonna do in the fight.
Yeah, I think we need to look at some scientists to make a study for us of why Europeans love to get punched in the face so much.
Yeah, it's so I think it's like you feel like, yeah, I'm a hard guy. I know I can take real punches. It's not worry. And the
Yeah.
Dutch, I mean, the Dutch should still do it. I think
Yeah, Dutch kickboxing scene.
yeah, many people in France and around Europe, like you said, the kickboxing scene, they still do that style. So yeah, it's not good for the brain though. That's
Yeah.
100% sure.
Every day is a real fight. Yeah, you get rattled a lot, I guess. Yeah.
Actually, I think that's the crazy thing. I think it didn't happen to me brain injuries like that, like a big one. Maybe the thing is, I think when I started, I went to a boxing club when I was also about 14 or something like that, and we sparred, and they wear the headgear and everything. I was like, what the fuck, what is this?
Yeah.
And then we sparred, and the one guy is like, oh, I think you got a concussion, and I was like, what the fuck, why are you acting like a bitch? We're sparring. Of course, you're gonna get a little bit of a headache after the sparring if you do hard sparring. But that's when I started realizing, like, maybe that's not so good and everything like that. So, but I mean, I kept on sparring till I was like 16, 17, like real hard. Now we do sparring maybe once a week or something like that, like really hard. But even then, it's not. I don't. When you do it with this bigger gloves, you can spar hard. But when you do it with the small gloves, it's really hard because then you're gonna knock each other out, like real quick.
So who is your most common training partner or sparring partner, should I say, in Västerås Fight Club?
In sparring, we have now that Tobias is back, I try to spar as much as I can with him because he's so quick and his hands are fucking like lightning. So it's good to have him keep you on the edge. And then when it comes to the wrestling department, I still spar a lot with Andreas Gustafsson, and I have Naib. If you have seen him, last Fight Club Rush, he's also like, when we spar and we do the wrestling game, it's not even fun, So that's the people that keep the pressure on me. And also I have one guy, a younger guy, Max Carlson. He's always training with me like day in day out now, and I'm thinking like he have a great potential because he's been doing wrestling a lot, and he's great boxing also. So, and he's a bit taller than me, and he fights at 84 also, same as Andreas. So it's good. It's good weight for me.
Okay, so it's giving yourself more of a challenge, so that when you go into fight day, it seems a bit easier.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to the wrestling, I mean, like Naib is I think he won the Swedish nationalship in freestyle. I don't know.
Okay, freestyle, yeah.
Yeah, freestyle wrestling in I think 8 times or something like that. So I mean, this guy it's not even fun. I was wrestling last week with him, and he's just hold you, and then he do the Khabib on you. That's what he does, and then he just jumps around and do everything. And but Andreas has the Greco-Roman style, so it's different. It's very different when you spar with these two guys. It's both are wrestlers, but it's very different.
Well, I guess you get to learn a lot from being in those situations.
Yeah. And you get like, for me, it's not like I want to out wrestle them. I want to be able to keep up with them enough to get it standing and keep the scramble going. And when I get it standing, then I can do my damage again. Because or when I get on top or get a lock or something like that. That's how you have to think about it. Because it's like, for them, is they're gonna just stand and kick with me. They know it's not gonna be like their game. So you have to always like implement their style and learn as much as you can.
Yeah. So let's talk about the big one then, which is coming up this Saturday at Superior Challenge.
Yeah.
You versus Adam Westlund from Söder's Fight Gym.
Yeah.
So let's start with the thing that everyone is thinking, and that is that this seems to be a bit of a grudge match. There seems to be some team rivalry there, and this fight has tried to be made quite a few times. What's your inside view on that, should I say?
I would say like between me and Adam, I think there's no like real grudge or something like that. but I think between the teams maybe there are. But that's more like for Jürgen and I don't know his name, the other guy from SFG. I don't know, but I think it's more between them. And for me and Adam, I think he has the same view on this fight. It's like we're trying to determine like who's the best welterweight in Sweden right now in our, like, how do you say, division of the pro level. Because I mean, I don't know of many welterweights in Sweden right now that are on the same level as me and him. And even though I got a couple of losses now, I mean, if you think about it, in Sweden, like, I don't know how many like 170 pounders you have in Sweden that are like top level, and that would get this fight also on the main card after, like, yeah, the first years. Both me and him, this is the first year we're pro. So I mean, yeah, I think it says a lot about us and about like this fight that, like you said, it's been booked like 2 times before, and both turned. First I was sick, then he got sick. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be, I think. And then also, the last fight that was when we were booked, it was at Gävle. It was their home city, and at their venue. And I was there, and I shook his hand. And I mean, between me and him, it's nothing like that. I think he wants to compete, I want to compete, and I hope it's gonna be like a real war. I hope it's gonna be like when we meet in the middle and just bang it out.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are two strikers, two of the best strikers, I would say, in Sweden at welterweight at the moment. And yeah, I think people think it's a grudge match because you two are so different in both your personality and your fighting styles. A bit like a Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor kind of thing.
Yeah. I get the thing. And they asked me like the similar question, like, yeah, what? I think, yeah, we have different styles, and we have a different style of like how we appear in the media, maybe, or something like that. Like, and I think it's he goes about it his way, and I go about it my way.
Yeah.
And I think their coach said one time, like, oh, we don't have nicknames and we don't have any tattoos. I said, okay, but that's like okay, that's your style. Then that's your style. It's not like it's mandatory to have tattoos and nickname when you fight at Västerås Fight Club. It's just something that happens, you know.
Yeah, but then he gets a nickname. Everyone's calling him like the third Diaz brother and the Swedish Diaz.
Exactly. So yeah, you see.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to this fight, and I have been for a
Yes.
while as well. Well, I would say one of the top firefights of Superior Challenge this year for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good card at Superior Challenge, and I think it's fun for me and Adam to get this like notoriety that we get for this fight. Like, many people are gonna see it, and it's gonna be like on the main card and all that. And yeah, I think it's gonna be, it's fun to do it at this venue that we know people are gonna see it. I think it's the best style. Like, to do it at Fight Club, Rush, or at their venue, it would have been nice, of course. But I think this is like neutral venue, and also like it's the biggest venue in Sweden right now, and like in Nordic MMA, I think it's the biggest one that we can use like that.
And it's about the same size from both cities, so you're gonna have like same amount of fans or something like that. So no home crowd advantage, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. And also, like, I think between me and him, he was ready to go here to fight me, and I was ready to go there to fight him. So I mean, I think none of us like feel like we need that home field advantage or disadvantage or whatever. Like, I think when this fight starts, it's just gonna be a fight, and then we're gonna see. And I think, like I say, what I want to show everybody that I'm the best, and I think he wants to do the same.
And so this fight is going to be contested at welterweight, and from what I think I've seen is that Adam Westlund has fought in weight classes lower than that as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, but he did like a catchweight fight at 73 or something like that.
Okay.
Or some 75 maybe. Yeah, they were when we were going to fight the second time. they were talking a lot about the weight, and they want to get the weight down and stuff like that, like a different catch weight or something like that. But I told them I'm fighting at 77 always. Like this, I haven't done anything else. I have been fighting at middleweight before, but so for me to go down even more is like I don't see the gains, and I don't see why I should do it neither. He claims he's fighting at 77, like a welterweight. Then he's a welterweight. Now what they did is they took away the 1 pound rule that usually implements, like you get the 1 pound extra. And that was on their behalf because they really wanted that I couldn't have that 1 pound. It won't make a difference if they feel so strongly about it, then take it away. But I feel like it's like that thing. I think it goes against their style that they're talking about, that they have this style that they don't care. Because if you don't care, then you don't care. Then you can't say that I have the 1 pound. And usually you have the 1 pound unless it's a title fight. So if you want to do special rules, then you shouldn't say that you don't care, because then you care about the weight.
Maybe there's a secret belt on the line here, like the best Swedish welterweight.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
So you cut weight to get to welterweight, is that correct?
Yeah. I cut a lot. Not compared to like UFC pros, but compared to Swedish pros in this kind of venue. Yeah, I think I cut a lot. I walk around. My walk around weight is about 85 or 86 kilos, so about 10 kilos almost.
Oh, that is a big cut.
Yeah, but I have help with that. I have a girl from Stockholm, Vilma is her name. She does the diet for me and everything. So right now I'm about 81, so I have cut already a lot. So this week I'll be cutting down and then doing the water about 2.5-3 kilos maybe. And that's now
this is when the Swedish food is coming into play now as well. So
yeah, oh shit. This is the like now when it's winter time and it's good food and oh shit, and everybody around you. Now I work at school also as a how do you say, I'm like an extra teacher for a kid that has a problem, you know. So I get the school food. The cafeteria lady is always like, oh, you eat so little. Why don't you eat more? I say, I'm cutting weight. I can't eat. I love this food, but I can't eat. You know, I love the school food in Sweden. It's really good. Like, it's good food. You know.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks or something, you'll have a full plate ready for you.
Yeah. Next week when I get the week after this one, oh shit, they're gonna see me eat. And the kids always talk because I always say to them like, oh, this is good food, because I have to sit with them when they eat, you know, when I can't eat. And I always say, oh, this is good food, and they're picky as I can't even understand it. Like the kids these days, they don't know what they get.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school in England, so I'm sure it's much worse than what it is in Sweden.
I don't know. I think also because I train, I've always loved it. You know, I like the food, so that's the thing. Yeah. Because always in school, like I know there's many people like picky and they're like, oh, this is not so good, this is not good. But when you train a lot, you eat. Yeah. Either you eat or you starve, you know. So
if you're hungry, everything tastes good. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's the fight that everyone's looking forward to. If everyone wants to tune in, Superior Challenge, you can check them out. Through Instagram or through local listings as well.
It's in Sweden. We have the Viaplay Sport. Is broadcasting it, and also or otherwise it's the same venue as the Fitness Festival, as we call it in Sweden. And if you get there, be there and watch everything. You know, I think it's gonna be good. Like it's a health, fitness, fighting weekend going on there, and it's fun. I think you can do like make it a whole week and go there and watch the fights and watch some fitness athletes if you like that. And I think it's
lots of fun stuff.
Yeah,
to
it's
do
a really big
weekend.
venue, so there's lots of space there. You can have a really good time walking around, walking around and looking at things.
Speaking of big as well, I have heard somewhere that Superior Challenge have the biggest cage in MMA. Does that change any of your fight preparation, knowing that you're gotta be in such a big area?
I like it. You know, I like this, especially when it's a big cage. Like I fought in small cages, and if you want to keep it standing and you want to do like a clean, but like good techniques, it's really hard to do in a small cage. Like I fought in cages where you can touch each other's arms when you're standing at the cage side. Like it's not good for me. I think it looks like shit when you fight, and I don't know how to say, but part of my game is still like when I fight, I want it to be I want to see the crisp technique. I want people to be able to look at it and think like, yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's not just brawling.
Yeah.
And even if like it's a grudge match, even if it's like a real war in the middle, you're still gonna see different techniques when you have like a bit of a space around, and it's unnatural to fight like it's like an elevator fight. You can't stand in there and fight. It's not gonna look good.
Yeah, you can't really throw a nice head kick in a phone booth, can you?
Exactly. So it's a little bit of that, but I like it. So I like when I fought there last time. I thought it's really good. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Well, good to hear that you won't be inhibited by a small arena and you get to show off a bit extra.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's going to be trying to put on a show at Superior Challenge as well.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing that.
Yeah. So so will your father be there as well? I know that he's one of your biggest fans and really supportive of your fight career.
Yeah. I fixed the tickets for him yesterday, so he'll be there. He's
Nice.
in Thailand right now. He's coming home Thursday, and then he's just landing and then going to the venue.
Yeah, last time when he was in Fight Club Rush, he was wearing a BFG T-shirt. I'm not sure if that's Big Friendly Giant or Big Fucking Guy, because he is huge. Like anyone could recognize him from a mile away.
Yeah, everybody knows my dad in the MMA circuit, like around me at least.
Yeah, so if he's there, say hi. He's a great guy as well. So
yeah, he's nice. Maybe he doesn't look the nicest, but he's nice.
Yeah, like if you saw his silhouette in a dark alley, you'll be a bit worried.
Yeah.
So also I know that you have a great liking of Nordic history or Norse mythology, shall I say, from your tattoos and everything. Could you give us a bit of insight on your interest in that as well?
Yeah, I think it's natural. Like for me, if you like, everybody have seen, not everybody, but a lot of people have seen the Viking series, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's blossoming, the Viking scene, everything like that. But I've been on this Viking stuff since before that. So if you're from Sweden, if you're from like Nordic countries, I think you should know your history. I think everywhere you go, if you're from another part of the world, you should know your history. And like for me, since I'm not religious or something like that, I think it's fun. I think like mythology is more fun than like the religions we have now. And like the stories from the Nordic mythology is crazy. If you listen to them, I don't read books that a lot, but when I listen to a lot of stories and stuff like that. And there's some different podcast stuff, and like the stories are crazy and it's fun. And also I like the history from around the world, but I can't really go around. Like when I was really young, I thought about getting like Maori tattoos, but I'm like, I'm Swedish, I can't go around. I'm not Maori. So I checked a lot into the Viking mythology and all that, and I think it's fun, and it's more relaxed view on life. It's more like I think all the mythologies are more like that. They're like basic, and there are a lot of crazy fantasy stuff, and I like that. So like the world serpent surrounding the world, and it's biting its tail, and Thor went fishing, and he tried to pull up the whole world, and it started shaking the earth and stuff like that. So it's a lot of nice stories there, and I think if you live in Sweden or in Norway, I think there's so many kids that don't know nothing about Nordic mythology, because you read about it in school, like when you're in third grade or something like that, for 1 week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but they know nothing, like, because the Vikings were like proper. Many people say like, oh, they were just pillaging and raiding stuff, but they were also like, in the beginning, yes, but also they were merchants, and they were all the way to Asia, and working as sellswords there, and all that. It kind of relates to like how the world is built today. So I mean, the history is connecting with all the other history. So I think it's interesting, and I think you should know your history. I think there's a lot of things you can learn from history, and a lot of fun things to nice stories, to hear about. Reading books. If you're just reading books from like fantasy, and if you even watch Game of Thrones, like a lot of things in Game of Thrones is taken from the Nordic mythology, and I think it's nice to see. Like, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I mean the country is called Westeros.
Yeah, exactly. And they have the White Walkers. It's probably it's like the frost giants they have in Jotunheim in the Viking realms. So I mean, like, yeah, a lot of things relate back to that. And like I say, the trade routes we use today are most of the like many of them were built by by the Vikings, and it's nice to see. I think it's fun. Like a fun thing also, I don't know how factually right it is, but when you go to, if you ever been to Turkey, I went there a lot when I was young. Many Swedes went to Turkey, then they started going to Thailand.
Yep.
So now, yeah, and they switch countries like that. But when we went to Turkey, you see these guys always wearing the blue eyes,
Yeah.
and it's a symbol of protection. And it comes from what I heard. You have to fact check this maybe.
Which we will.
It comes from the blue eye of the Vikings, that when they're raided, like if you have the blue eye, maybe you're protected from that because you have blue eyes, and they came with the blue eyes and all that. So it's a fun fact. If it's true or not, I don't know, but I choose to believe it. It's fun fact,
Yeah.
So I have to learn a bit more about this. Being from England, we don't really get taught so much. I guess you, Johan, will know a lot more about it than me. About Norse mythology.
But it's fun. You meet a lot of people also, like, and also the thing I think is like bad with this Nordic mythology and all that is it get like a bad rep, and it's connected to racism, and it's connected to all sorts of shit, but like it has nothing to do with that.
No.
And yeah, it's crazy. I don't like that. And I work in like a youth center, in the same area where I live, and also another area in Västerås also, and it's predominantly how do you say immigrants living. So it's not like ethnically Swedish people. And many times when they see me, because I work with kids, and every time when they say, "Oh, first time we saw you, we thought you were a racist. You thought this." I say, "Yeah, but you're so like how do you say in Swedish? You have a not a bias, but you have like a preset mind. You already think something, like a white dude with tattoos. Oh, he's a racist. And this one, I know everybody have their bias like that, and like they think certain things, and it's not wrong. It's like something you're born with or taught like that.
Okay. The solution to that is always just be open-minded, give people a chance, work through it. Who's behind the tattoo? That's always been the solution, and it's always gonna be.
Yeah, and also in Sweden, like I think tattoos have been from the Viking age. Like everybody been doing tattoos. Like I think it's not only Sweden, like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark. Like it's a culture of like we have tattoos, but it's funny. Like when you prove them wrong, these kids are gonna be they're like my best friends, when I work with them, and they're like, but at the first, and they always do the stories when they say something else, like, oh, the first time we saw you, like, oh, this is the racist guy, is this, and now we realize it's not like that. I say, yeah, but I have a friendly face. I don't know why you always think like, but yeah, but it's funny to prove people wrong like that, and it's always that like ignorance between, if it's something like that, it's ignorance, but it's still like fun to prove them wrong.
Yeah, I guess like it's the thing of not judging a book by its cover. I mean, if you travel to like Thailand and other places in Asia, you'll see swastikas everywhere, which actually was a symbol of peace before the Nazis took over it. So it's the thing of knowing the beginning of things and what they actually mean, and then like
I still think it's good symbolism in that, because they took the symbol of peace and then they made it crooked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that, and they took away the bends. I think in the Buddhist symbol they have like a little bit bend.
Waveform.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing, everything can get like fucked up, or how you say. But like you say, ignorance, like that's it's dangerous for people who actually believe in stuff like that. That's the problem, you know.
Yeah, and I know that a teammate of yours, Andreas Gustafsson, also had a lot of problems with his tattoos as well. But hopefully that's all in the past after he has explained that it's not anything behind it like that.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, like, if any of us were racist or Nazis or whatever the fuck they call us, how the fuck would I like, my girlfriend is Kurd. She's from Iran and stuff like that and everything. And we're training with, like, it's, it doesn't make sense, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's so diverse and everything.
Yeah. My kid brother is half Thai, you know. So I mean, I don't know. I don't get it, you know. But people are gonna be ignorant, and that's the way it is. And
you can't get away from prejudice. As I said, all you can do is work through it, and truth shines through. So it's gonna show.
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone take the advice from Pretty Boy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It will be in the Swedish history books in like 100 years.
Yeah, exactly. My advice. The pretty advice, they say.
So yeah, I mean, you know, we know that you're a busy guy and everything. So as again, I want to say thank you for your time. Do you want to talk about any sponsors or anything that you have at the moment?
No, like, all my sponsors, I should thank them all, like, because they helped me do my thing, and especially the local ones in Västerås. Like, we have Björklunds, the coffee, and we have also sport performance, and we have a lot of guys helping me out with my food and everything. And it's like the support of the common man is the best support, if you ask me. Like, you can ask for support from big companies and all that, but the small companies that really, those are the ones who shine through for me, you know. Because of course, in the end, I want to be able to get money from this and just do this. But as long as I have people support and people, like, showing their love to me, that's worth more than everything else.
And I'm sure that the bad boy is involved with you as well.
I guess so.
Yeah. It's like, well, who knew?
I feel like bad boy will need to sponsor us soon. I mean, everyone seems to have a bad boy deal, so bad boy, hit us up. And so if I gave the same question to Irma's Magic yesterday, if the whole world is watching, including Dana White and Scott Coker and all the big brands and everything like that, how are we gonna sell them Robin Roos?
I think I think I sell myself. I don't know how to say it, you know.
The action speaks for itself.
Yeah, and people that know me or people that get to know me, they either like me or hate me, like that. And I think I think when you see me fight, or when you see me perform like I can, then you know, like, it's the real thing. And don't have to say it. And more than that, like, it should shine through, like, what I can do.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah,
again
thank you very much, man.
for this great interview. Everyone, we're going to try and upload a bit more often like we have today. So check out Robin Roos' Instagram, which we'll put a link in the description here as well.
Yeah.
Superior Challenge is coming up. You should check that out too. And anything else, Johan?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered most of it. So thank you very much, Robin, for coming on. It's been really interesting listening to you and knowing about your background, because I had no clue that you started fighting when you were 10. That's crazy.
It's crazy that I don't have a lot of cuts in my face. That's what's crazy.
So I guess that's where the name has come from then.
Yeah.
So any final words from you, Robin?
No, I think thank you for having me on, and great work.
Okay, we are looking forward to your performance at the Superior Challenge, and we'll see you there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye.